Welcome to PodKat. This is my pod, and I am Kat. As previously stated, I am an expert in nothing. I woke up this morning thinking my vision had been cured, but I had just slept in my contacts. This podcast is most of all meant to be a conversation between friends. I'm not even sure that this is a podcast. The whole middle row of my laptop keyboard is broken, so I can barely even caption these. But I'm just somebody living in unusual times who wants to reach out and connect with people, hopefully gain some answers on what's really going on, and just find out what our new differing realities are. Before I introduce my guest, I wanted to start with a question that I would love if you, the listener, would respond to. So I was on my morning run, and I was thinking over PodKat questions and just letting my inner dialogue kind of run rampant. I kept questioning if I was over or underreacting. If I ask about life after this pandemic, am I being naive? If I ask about life, like a long-term impact on the world, am I being too extremist? But as I was running, I saw these other people out who would hurry away from me and not look at me, just trying not to take that personally. I understand social distancing and respecting boundaries, but I'm trying to make sure I smile and wave at people, but my thoughts were running wild. And it got me thinking about how much I was turning over in my head and that I needed to enjoy my current reality, which was being outside on a sunny LA spring day. So, all that to say, I ended up singing out loud as I was running, and I heard that if you smile, it feels forced, but eventually it'll actually make you feel better. And I was like, that's crazy, but okay. So I just started smiling and singing, and people would stare at me, but I was just it felt so good to have the wind in my hair as I was running, and it did make me feel happier. So something I want to talk over today is, how do you make yourself happy? Does it work? Is it silly? What works for you? So I wanted to introduce my guest today, who is my kindred spirit since we were 15. She is a total positivity fountain, Mrs. Kimbo.
Hi.
Hi, Kim. Where are you and who are you?
I am in Washington State, and I'm Kimberly Seveland, stay-at-home mom as of right now.
So I'll ask, do you have a new reality since the pandemic broke?
Not in particularly. We've kind of been already self-quarantined in a way, just because we stay home most days anyway. But
oh, there's the baby.
As you can see, our newest member has just woken up.
He's like, I did not call into a podcast. What is this?
Yeah, so we haven't really changed a whole lot. We still go out for walks and stuff like that because it's nice to be out of the house. But
so,
yeah.
What in any way are you currently financially upset, or has that changed for you?
It hasn't changed a whole lot. My husband Joe is still working as of right now, so it hasn't really affected us too much. We did find out that our landlords wanted to sell our house, so there's
Ooh.
that. We're having to figure out in the midst of this craziness on how and where we're going to live after this. So, yeah.
What has been your community's response? So you're in a small town area in Washington State. Are you noticing a change in traffic?
Yeah, there's less traffic, definitely. Everyone's kind of trying to stay inside, but everyone's being pretty friendly here. They're trying to make sure that everyone gets what they need, and I know a lot of the communities hey, be nice to all the workers that are actually out there, because they're in the thick of it, and they're constantly dealing with people who are panicking and people who are rude, and so be nice to them and all that. And it's been really nice to know that our community is looking out for everybody.
That is really, really important. It makes me think of, I've lived through a lot of different hurricanes and blizzards and this and that, and it makes you think of after the hurricane, when the neighborhood comes together and they're like, oh, I have a backup generator and I have a chainsaw and let's get the trees out of the road, and making that stuff come together. I was wondering, one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you, the second thing I want to talk to you about is just your overall positivity. But the first thing I wanted to talk about was just being a new mom, I think kind of is a quarantine situation anyways for, it can be isolating, I've heard, and it can kind of be lonely or very private as well as very exciting. And I was just wondering, as far as new mom experience, how would you say that has been similar to maybe what other people might be going through now?
I think it's quite similar, especially if you're not hooked into any like mommy groups or anything like that, or have very much family living around you, like in my case. And so, I don't think it's been all that different, like, for the quarantine part of it. We do feel a little bit more isolated now, just because, we used to go to the coffee shop and say hi to everybody, to at least have, for mommy, to have an adult conversation for, 5 minutes or whatever. But, so for a little while, it's definitely been pretty isolating, but it's okay. We'll make it through, and I call a lot of people to make sure that I have some kind of conversation with people. So
yeah, I think that was what I didn't articulate well, but my real question was like, what do you do as a new mom to stay sane? Because maybe people can apply that to quarantine. So as a new mom, you were talking about calling people, and how do you stay at home a lot and still stay happy?
Yes, definitely calling people, finding new like crafts that you can do around the house. I did some spring cleaning, but I can't get rid of anything as of now. But I do that. My mom and I actually did a Netflix party where you actually can watch Netflix together at the same time, and message each other back and forth on things, and that was pretty fun and pretty good to do, just because we all love movies and have crazy, this funny part was hilarious, and oh my gosh, look at his hair, wow, look how young this actor was back in the day, or whatever. So yeah, it's just that's kind of the stuff that I do. I play a lot with the baby, making sure that he has enough stuff going on, so he's not bored either, which is fun. And he's starting to roll over and do some other stuff, and he just...
Do you want to tell everyone how old your new baby is?
Yes, my new baby Malachi, he's 4 months old, well, 4.5 now, 4.5 months.
He's growing up like a weed.
Yes, he is. And he just rolled over last night, so that was exciting.
Oh.
Yeah.
I feel like so much changes so fast with new babies. Having been a nanny, it's weird if you miss like 1 week and you're like, holy cow, you're a totally different person each week.
Yeah. I was telling my mom how much when he was first born, 4 months seemed like a long time, and now it's here already. So, it's crazy.
It is really crazy. I was wondering about the fears of being a new mom, because I think anyways, having had, this is not a comparison, but having had a pet, if anything goes wrong, you're like, oh my gosh, the whole city needs to shut down. I need to take him out. Like, everything is really extremist. So I assume as a parent, it all can be really scary. So do you have any current, like, worries as a parent about the climate of the world?
I definitely do, just in general of like, well, how are we going to necessarily feed him when he is ready to be, on solid foods, and like what are we going to feed him? Are we is it going to be available for us to get? And But for right now, I'm not really, I don't have very many fears or worries right now. It's just, making sure that he's not out and about, just because, he has a new immune system and all that. And making sure he's isolated, which is why when we go shopping or whatever, my husband Joe usually goes in the store and we stay in the car, so that way we're not around other people. But I haven't really had very many fears on this account, so that's very nice.
I think that's rational. I think it's important to do what you're doing, taking precautions. You're not taking him in somewhere, but you're also like not panicking. I spoke to a friend this week who has a sibling with special needs, and the sibling is now a teenager. But when the mother was pregnant with the child, they were told the child wouldn't make it to the age of 2. And my friend was telling me about how her mother was told that information. And she was like, well, okay, I'm going to love him today. I hope he's here for me to love him tomorrow, but you can't think about that. And now that the child's doing great, he's well into a successful teenagehood and is so loved. But we were talking about that of, well, today's here. And I think probably as a parent, maybe that's what you have to do, because each day is really special, especially as we were talking about with a newborn, where each day is totally different.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, you just definitely have to take it one day at a time, because you can't necessarily control the future. So as of right now, you can control the day, and you can make sure that they're happy and healthy today and loved. All that.
Well, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I did want to ask you just about positivity, just this time or always, because you are somebody, your family really looks on the bright side and is so much fun to be around, and you guys are the best bunker buddies I could imagine having. Everything is fun, and it's not the money we spend, it's not where we are, it's being together. And I was just wondering about your family's positivity.
We just, we kind of grew up with not a whole lot, so we just kind of gotten to the point where, we enjoy each other's company, and we can laugh at hard situations, and we can just have fun together and not worry about everything that's happening, and just be present with each other and know what's going on in their lives, and make sure everyone laughs, because laughing is the best medicine, in all honesty, for any kind of panicking or anything like that. And our family loves to laugh.
You guys never.
Right? Yeah, I know. We don't laugh ever.
I think it's sweet how you guys like josh around and joke with each other, but that there's always like such a strong, you're not afraid to tell each other that you love one another. And I that's really powerful, because it is easy to be like, oh, hey, poop face, but then to then still be like, hey, I love you, or I'm checking in on you. Is
and a lot of the ways our insults are terms of endearment. like we're like, oh, you butt face or whatever. Like it's not insults. It's more of like nicknames. So we definitely don't take it too hardly, but.
Yeah, watching RuPaul's Drag Race has shown me when they'll read each other, where they kind of, roast one another. And if you say anything like personally harmful about like someone's specific insecurity, it doesn't go over well. But if you like make it a joke, or you say like, oh, so-and-so is so old, last time I fell off the back of my dinosaur, like make it a joke, but not to like call out specific, I don't know.
Exactly.
Specific insecurities. I don't know if that makes sense.
Right, yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask if you had any like recommendations for books or movies or games that you guys really enjoy?
Yeah. I would recommend the book series, The Gender Game.
The Gender
It
Game.
is, yeah, The
Okay.
Gender Game. It's a fiction, a post-apocalyptic world. It's a great series. It's 7 books, but they're all out, so you don't have to wait for them, which is really, really nice.
Yes.
And both my sister and I just totally enjoyed that series. I'm just recently rereading the Anna Green Gables series, and it is fantastic.
Talk
Love it.
about positivity.
Yes. That Anne will just make you feel wonderful. Like, she just has such a great outlook on life, and just finds everyone interesting.
That's true.
And so definitely, I would recommend that. I haven't really been watching very many shows. I did see that Richie Rich is on Netflix now, the original Richie Rich, and I loved that show when I was younger. So definitely check that one out.
Is there anything that I didn't ask or address that you wanted to mention or that you want people to know right now?
Other than, you were loved and you were, just be safe and, use common sense, but don't panic. You are awesome and wonderful people, and if you need to laugh, call me.
Kim's Comedy Hour. She's here all week, folks.
Exactly.
Oh, you're so cute. Who would you want me to interview next? Like, what sort of a person would you want to hear about their life right now?
Ooh, I don't know. Maybe someone who has been affected by it, or knows somebody who's affected by it, because I haven't known anybody that's been affected personally by it. So that would be very interesting to see, what their perspective is and everything.
Yeah, I had someone reach out to me this week and say they know someone currently who has COVID-19, but that they're in recovery. And they said that that person would like to speak to me because it is really important to not alienate those people and to not think of them as goners or just statistics or something. To be like, these are real people, and these people have value and love, and not to be scared of them.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Beautiful. Well, I appreciate you so darn much, and I am glad to have had a quick chat. I know you're a busy new mom, but I'm just glad that you have the joy of your baby every day.
Yeah, well, thank you for the opportunity. I feel so honored to be on PodKat.
Love to all listening. Take care of yourself and others as you're able. Thank you for spending this time with me. Kim, would you like to have the last meow?
Yeah, meow.